I'm Alex Makovica reporting on the Rural Radio Network. Nebraska Extension's Eric Hunt joins us today as he does every Monday to give us a preview of what's to come in the week ahead. Eric, it is finally feeling like fall across Nebraska. Some folks even getting a freeze over the weekend. As we look at the week ahead with producers trying to get those crops out of the fields, what might we see here this week?
Yeah, they're going to have pretty good luck for most of the week. The only thing that may slow them down, we are going to be a little on the windy side today after the frontal passes comes through. So right now that front is kind of draped across the northern portion of the state, and it'll be clearing the entire state by the end of the day. So your winds will turn toward the northwest at some point during the day. Depending on where you are, temperatures will be in the 50s. So northern and western sections of the state likely will be 50s to low 60s for highs today. Warmer further south and east. The winds will pick up in a pretty big way on this afternoon from the northwest. So that fire danger risk is going to be a little bit elevated, particularly in places where we've been on the dry side the last month or so. A little bit breezy again tomorrow. Same story kind of for the northwest. Things really should calm down though Tuesday night into Wednesday. So I think we're going to see widespread temperatures in the 30s and 20s on Wednesday morning. So if you have not had a frost yet, I think there's a reasonable chance you're going to get one Wednesday morning. I would guess the western two-thirds of the state likely will be below freezing on Wednesday morning. Some places may drop below freezing tomorrow morning, but I think winds should stay up just enough to kind of keep that from happening tomorrow morning. But by and large, though, precip should be pretty much absent for most of the week. There might be a couple of very light showers in northeast Nebraska later today. Otherwise, this frontal pass is coming through dry for everybody, just some increase in cloud cover. And then as we turn toward the end of the week, I think we're going to see a chance of rain across the southern third of the state. I still kind of trying to figure out where this upper level low is going. Most indications are it's going to take a little bit more southerly track, so that should keep the bulk of the moisture in Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma as we head into Friday. There is some signal that we may see some precipitation by the end of the weekend. So late Saturday to Sunday may be wet, particularly the eastern portion of the state, as we see a system from the west that's going to be coming in a little bit quicker than I think we were anticipating 4 or 5 days ago. That's also going to have an impact on our temperatures over the weekend, which should still be relatively mild as we move through the end of the week, but not necessarily looking quite as warm as we were looking, to get several days ago. I think we're looking mostly in 60s, maybe low 70s, not looking like temperatures are going to be, well in the 70s, maybe even the 80s, which was a possibility last week.
Sure. Well, Eric, I'm sure a lot of producers, along with my husband, who I get this from, follow some old wives' tales. I think it is 90 days after a fog event. There's a chance that we'll get significant moisture. What I'm asking you as we look out into the next couple of months gearing up for winter, gearing up for putting those cattle on stocks in calving season, what do those moisture chances look like from what you're seeing right now?
Yeah, I think the official outlooks actually show mostly kind of average moisture for this region over the winter. Now, the CPC did release their winter outlook last Thursday, and that did show a better chance of above normal precipitation across the northern portion of the state. Let me keep in mind, though, above average in the winter around here is still relatively dry in the grand scheme of things. So areas that are still in drought would need, much above average precipitation to really see an impact or an improvement in drought conditions. Regarding the fog thing, that actually is mostly an old wives' tale. We actually, State Climate Office, an intern, I did take a look at that this past summer, and there is some relationship with fog and precipitation, the following 90 days out, but it's not a real strong signal. It certainly is no guarantee. Actually, what we looked at is winters that had lots of fog versus, what was the following summer. And, what we can say is that the summer after a winter with a lot of fog generally was above average for moisture, but certainly not uniformly so. But what we did see was rarely did we see very, very dry summers coming after winter where we had a lot of fog. So if we do get a lot of fog this winter, that may be a sign that we're in for a more, a little bit more moisture, next summer. But being in a weaker La Nina with a negative phase of PDO is not the best combination for us to have a lot of fog this winter. We probably would have flow coming more from the northwest instead from the southwest, which tends to keep us. Doesn't necessarily preclude us from getting snow, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have just, lots of warm, moist air coming up over cold ground, which tends to cause fog in the winter.
Okay, a little bit of science behind it. That was fascinating. All right. Nebraska Extension's Eric Hunt joining us for this week's weather discussion. Eric, thanks so much.
Yep. Thanks, Alex. Good to hear from you again.
Here on the Rural Radio Network, I'm Alex McAvica reporting.